a morning for every nation. When the sun's high in the sky, there's a time for every people to affirm their destiny. La 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 la. La 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 la. Even so, all of us together can create a better land. Leave the past, a new tomorrow waits for all who understand. La 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 la. Leave the past, a new tomorrow waits for all who understand.
The voice of God calls us to awaken Him. How will He find us?
Awake and ready.
You guys are so enthusiastic.
And when He asks us to dedicate ourselves ever more perfectly to Him, how will He find us?
Awake and ready.
What a group. Divine Mother.
Divine Mother.
Heavenly Father.
Heavenly Father.
Friend, beloved God.
Friend, beloved God.
Great Masters.
Great Masters.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
Babaji Krishna.
Babaji Krishna.
Lahiri Mahashaya.
Lahiri Mahashaya.
Swami Sri Yukteswar.
Swami Sri Yukteswar.
Beloved Master.
Beloved Master.
Paramahansa Yogananda.
Paramahansa Yogananda.
Saints of all religions.
Saints of all religions.
We humbly bow before Thee.
We humbly bow before Thee.
Be with us this morning.
Be with us this morning.
Help us to be open to Your presence.
Help us to be open to Your presence.
To go ever deeper in our devotion.
To go ever deeper in our devotion.
Our concentration.
Our concentration.
Our attunement.
Our attunement.
That we may become
That we may become
Your channels.
Your channels.
For Your grace.
For Your grace.
Your peace and harmony.
Your peace and harmony.
In this world.
In this world.
Oh, peace. Amen.
What is love? Is it only ours? Or does love whisper in the flowers, flowers? Surely we children of this world could not love by our own powers. What is joy? Is it just a dream? Or does joy laugh in every stream? Are the clouds mindless after all? Or is joy all nature's theme? God is dead, so men say. Can't they see all life's His play? Not a church binds Him as its own. Not a creed makes Him fully known. No. Foolish we, if we limit Him. Every atom is His throne. What is love? Is it only ours? Or does love whisper in the flowers, flowers? Surely we children of this world could not love by our own powers. What is love? What is love? with love we touch in the flower.
Keeping your focus inward and upward. Listen to these words on our affirmation for this week on courage. There are 3 kinds of human courage: blind, passive, and dynamic. Blind courage doesn't count the cost until it finds itself faced, horror-stricken, with the bill. Passive courage is the strength of will to adjust to reality, whatever it may be. And dynamic courage is the strength of will not only to accept reality, but to confront it with another reality of one's own making. There's a 4th kind of courage, not human, but divine. Divine courage comes from living in the awareness of God's presence within, and in the realization that He is the sole reality. Live more in Him, for nothing and no one can touch what you really are. Well, let's affirm together, first in a strong voice. I live protected by God's infinite light.
I live protected by God's infinite light.
So long as I remain in the heart of it.
So long as I remain in the heart of it.
Nothing and no one can harm me.
Nothing and no one can harm me.
And in a little softer and a regular speaking voice, I live protected by God's infinite light.
I live protected by God's infinite light.
So long as I remain in the heart of it.
So long as I remain in the heart of it.
Nothing and no one can harm me.
Nothing and no one can harm me.
And now in a whisper with even deeper focus, I live protected by God's infinite light.
I live protected by God's infinite light.
So long as I remain in the heart of it.
So long as I remain in the heart of it.
Nothing and no one can harm me. And now silently, mentally broadcasting this affirmation with the deepest focus. I live protected by God's infinite light. So long as I remain in the heart of it, nothing and no one can harm me. And pray silently with me. I look to Thee for my strength, Lord. Hold me closely in Thy arms of love. Then, whatever happens in my life, I shall accept with joy. Om. Peace. Amen. Welcome to our Sunday service, and to those joining online, those visiting from afar. I'm Dharma Devi. This is my husband, Narayan. And this is Ananda, LA. And this is week 18 from Rays of the One Light, weekly commentaries on the Bible and the Bhagavad Gita by Swami Kriyananda. Perfection is self-transcendence. Truth is one and eternal. Realize oneness with it in your deathless self within. The following commentary is based on the teachings of Paramhansa Yogananda. We begin this week with a passage from the Gospel of St. Matthew, chapter 5. Love your enemies. Bless them that curse you. Do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you. If ye love them which love you, what reward have ye? Do not even the tax collectors the same? And if ye salute your brethren alone, what do ye more than others? Do not even pagans so? Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. This teaching is a continuation of last week's lesson, to love all equally as possible only by seeing God everywhere, in others as well as in oneself. See whatever comes to you unasked for as a manifestation of His will. Be grateful for the pains you experience, for they are healing strokes of His love. Sometimes healing is effected only by strong measures, but his love for you is manifested in the very attempt to heal. Strive always to be impersonal, as though whatever happens to you were happening to someone else. Persecution gives us the supreme opportunity to deny the thought, "This is happening to me," and to affirm our inner freedom from the thought of ego. Don't allow the negative perceptions of others to become your own self-definition. Seek God. This is the true goal of life, though how difficult to cling to in the midst of hatred, spite, and persecution. The Bhagavad Gita tells us in the 7th chapter, out of thousands, one strives for spiritual attainment, and out of many blessed true seekers who strive assiduously to reach me, one perhaps perceives me as I am. O truth seeker, be one among all those thousands who seeks the supreme goal. Thus, through Holy Scripture, God has spoken to mankind. Om, Om, Om.
And the Whispers reading today is number 56. Make me silent, that I may eloquently converse with thee. Wandering through forests of incessant searching, I arrived at the mystery door which conceals thy presence. I knocked loudly on this door of silence with persistent blows of faith. At last the door opened, and I beheld thee resting on thy altar of glorious visions. I stood with restless gaze, waiting for thee to speak. Thy creation-making voice was inaudible. At last a deep stillness stole upon me, taught me in whispers of the language of angels. With the lisping voice of my newborn freedom, I tried to speak. Suddenly the lights in the temple wrote brightly in letters of light. In my little chamber of quietness, I am ever at rest. I never speak now, but with the voice of silence. Through my silence, O divine lover, converse thou eloquently with me.
I want to welcome everyone as well. I'm Narayan, as Dharma Devi said, and welcome to our friends online. You were actually going to start a new class series here. We were joking about it before some of you got here, that you come and pay for a fitness class and we lock you in the bathroom because you can hear them next door. I'm just joking. Because anyway, for those of you who are not here in person, the bathroom is not soundproof. So if you go in the bathroom, it's like you're in a gym class. This reading is important, of course, for us. It's interesting that Swami paired the affirmation on this reading about perfection. Perfection is self-transcendence. The affirmation that he paired with it is courage. And if you heard what Dharma Devi was reading and talking about 4 types of courage: passive, more meeting things, confronting courage, taking initiative. But then he said there's a 4th type of courage, which is living in the presence of God. And so it got me thinking about this topic of, where do we find perfection? We certainly don't find it in the outer world. I mean, Dharma Devi told me this morning, she said, your left sock is on your right foot and your right is on your left. My socks are labeled, and even those I got wrong. If I can't get my socks right, I mean, we're never going to find the perfect fit in this world. So where will we find that perfection? Well, it's not through the outer world, of course. That's what the masters are coming to remind us of, that there is a sanctuary within. we had our Raja Yoga class yesterday, which is a 3-month course on the paths of yoga and how it's an integrated practice, not just for meditation, but it's actually, the true teaching is triune. It's for your body, mind, and soul. And in there, one of the women asked, well, Yogananda said that the spine and the brain are the altars of God. What did he mean by that? And it was a wonderful question, because it's the essence of Raja Yoga, the royal yoga. It means that we are a kingdom unto ourselves. And where does our kingdom reside? It resides inside. But specifically in the spine and the brain. This is what Yogananda was talking about. And Dharma Devi went on to actually answer that question yesterday in an inspired way for me, and saying, well, if you think about an altar, what do you do at an altar? You know, it's a place where you come and make an offering, and you offer yourself. Well, this is what Yogananda said. He said, you're your own minister of your own temple. You're in charge, and you have a portable paradise wherever you go. But we've become hypnotized to meditate and make offerings on the altar of the ego, of the body and the personality. And now all we have to do is switch the searchlight, reverse the current back, and learn to make this offering inward. I wanted to share these words of Yogananda from this new book, How to Awaken Your True Potential. Nayaswami Anandi, who some of you know at Ananda Village, has put these incredible books based on Master's words and articles. And this is from Discover Your True Nature in Silence. Because of long concentration upon the little body and its necessities, the soul has forgotten its omnipresent nature. God is omnipresent. Man's soul, made in his image, has in it the seed experience of omnipresence. That omnipresence is hidden in the little soul, as a tree is secreted in a small seed. Looking at the body daily causes the mind to think of itself as confined in flesh. The mind, meditating upon the body, becomes limited by it. The mind meditating upon the infinite becomes unlimited. Meditation upon the infinite, as it grows deeper, convinces the mind that it is not encased only in the little body, but is in everything. The spiritual man, through the spreading light of sympathy and meditation, learns to feel the woes of pains of other souls. He feels that the world is his home. That is why the meditating aspirant must do away with little body attachments. He must learn to be proof against warm or cold climates. He must learn to overcome hunger and pain. He must learn to conquer all attachments that govern the little body. For as long as the mind is focused on the body, the soul cannot remember its omnipresent nature. Meditation means constant thinking of the vastness within and without, so that the soul may forget its attachment to the little body and may remember its vast body as God. Isn't that incredible? And that just switching what our focus is on, rather than focusing on our limitation, focusing on our infinity. And how do we do that? You know, Yogananda said something fascinating related to meditation, that the cord that ties the soul to the body is the breath. And that is why in the techniques of meditation that we learn, those of you, I think all of you probably here know the Hong Saw technique. And we'll actually practice that today. We'll have some time to have a meditation, another meditation with that technique. He said this technique of Hong Saw, this is a mantra. Aham Saha is actually the Sanskrit saying, but as a mantra, it's invoked as Hong Sa. And this is like offering the little self into the infinite self. And he said through that concentration at the point between the eyebrows, remember, which represents your seat of superconsciousness, the divine light within you, that through your concentration on the seat of superconsciousness, your awareness with the breath, with that mantra. And also, interestingly, he associated a subtle movement of the right index finger. You ever know, like when your mom said, Mira, go to your room, and someone sort of wags their finger at you. It's in palmistry, the finger is associated with the ego, and so the movement with Hong Sa is that the finger comes towards the palm with Hong, and it relaxes with Sa. So it's an affirmation. Deeper than an affirmation, it's getting in touch with living in that reality of where you can begin to, like he was sharing, chip away at the hypnosis of yourself as the body and switch your identity to your soul nature. What are the pitfalls that we have to look out for? There are many, but one here that he talked about, that Swami talked about in this reading and the affirmation, is acceptance. One of the things, if we're incarnated on this planet at this time, then we're probably not free. So that's one thing that we all share in common. So we have to start and just accept where we're at. But of course, that's what Swami was talking about. That's on the lower grade. Then it's confronting reality with a reality of our own and taking initiative and being a cause and going deeper. But one of the pitfalls we can fall into is through non-acceptance is just not thinking that we can be wrong. Being willing to be wrong. I always love Swami said that. Be willing to make a mistake. Be willing to be terribly wrong, and be willing to be corrected. Dharma Devi said to me the other day, you said you're being pig-headed. And I was like, no, I'm not. And I thought, actually, yes, I am. and I was. And so that's okay. We have to just work with ourselves as we are, but on a deeper level, remember that acceptance is not just accepting where you are and moving through those blocks, but it's also accepting your divine reality as a soul. It's not enough to say I'm only human, to use that as an excuse. No, you're not. You are the soul. You're a child of God. And you can see this reflected in the masters. There's a story of Yogananda that is a wonderful example of this. When you can see that you're not reacting. And when he went back to India in 1935, 36, as you recall, from Autobiography of a Yogi, he actually went to the school in Ranchi that he founded, and he helped them get out of some financial distress that they were in at that time. And they were putting on a function for the school, for some graduates, and they were looking for a dignitary to preside this function. And so they thought, well, who could lead it? And they thought, oh, well, this local judge, a man named Guru Das Banerjee, would be the perfect candidate. So Yogananda went to Guru Das Banerjee and asked, would you be willing to preside over this function? And he said, these swamis! And the man just erupted at him. He said, these swamis, they're the plague of our country. They're sloths, they're lazy people. Why would I want to preside over your function? And he just went off on this tirade on Yogananda. And Yogananda didn't react at all. He just sat there calmly. And he then responded politely and said, well, if you change your mind, we would be honored if you were to grace your presence at our function. Thank you. Have a nice day. And then he went on his way to find a replacement. And so he found a principal of a local school. And then the night of the function came, and this local principal was presiding, and he was about to introduce the next speaker when a car drove up. And out of the car appeared this judge, Guru Das Banerjee. And he was, so well known and honored in that area that the principal deferred to him and allowed him to come up. After another man made an announcement about some of our students are going on to become swamis, and then Guru Das Banerjee came up and said, "This day is the happiest day of my life." He said, "Paramhansa Yoga, your Swami Yogananda came and asked me to preside over this function, and I felt a thrill of joy go through my spine. And I wanted to test him to see if he was great as he seemed. And I tell you that he passed my test beyond any measure I could have had. And I'll tell you, not only, should you be happy to produce swamis, if your school, not only your school, but if India can produce one swami of this caliber, the entire country will be glorified." How often do we get pulled right into the reactions? And that's because we're living on the periphery. We need to come back to our center. And that is what the techniques of meditation help us to do, to come back home to this place of inner peace, of tranquility, where we are untouched. What was the affirmation? Nothing and no one can harm me. May you be blessed in that sanctuary.